Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? Someone asked me this morning if I had a video on how to set up the PA system in stereo and the sub bus on mono for the wing mixers, and I replied no, but it's real easy to do. And I forget that everything's easy to do when you know how to do it. So, a couple things I want to point out. You're not really mixing in stereo. In order to be able to mix in stereo, you have to have two microphones or two inputs for everything you're bringing into that board. Okay, now your keys, you come out of the left and right, those are coming in. That's a stereo input. But if you're using a single mic, on your guitar, if you're using, or, your amp or a DI box, your kick drum in and out, those aren't stereo. That's, two separate inputs. So what you're doing is you're taking a left and right mono channel and you're subbing them together. And we call it stereo, but it's not. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is come over here and label our scribble stereos. And over here on the sub, I've added in the bass and the kick, and I've added in the piano, your keys, you got some low frequencies coming through on that. So, whatever you're using that has low frequencies and no highs, you would put it on your sub bus. And here on the PA, if I come up here, as you can see, I've taken the bass and the kick out, and I've left the piano left and right in. And the purpose of this is we're going to filter all of this out using our crossover filters and our EQs. Okay? Now, at this point, we're going to come up here to setup, and we're going to come under preferences, or under audio here. And we want the second main to follow the fader of the first main. Just think of this as a great old big DCA for your mains. Okay, I think default this is going to be off, and we don't want that. We want to have 1, arrow 2. Now, at this point, we're going to come up here to our PA. And I just clicked it there. I'm not worried about the sends on fader. That just gets me to the EQ real fast. So here on my low band, I'm using the LR24. We have all these choices here. I've actually written a PDF file that lists what these filters actually do. So now what this is showing us is no frequencies lower than 130.8 hertz is going to pass through into our main PA. Okay, it's just going to block them from coming in there. Now, if we switch over to our sub, as you can see here now, the LR24, I'm using the same. You don't want to mismatch these. You want to keep them the same to get the best results. So now what is this telling us? This is telling us that no high frequencies are going to pass through and come to our sub bus. So at this point, we can come over here now, and if we bring up our meters, and you see right here where the main one and the sub 2, but there's both still mains. If I bring this down, you see that sub bus? It follows right along with it. Now this is the beautiful thing about doing this. Let's say for whatever reason that you want to tweak your subs. It doesn't matter why, but if you click on this, you can now come to your master fader for your sub bus, bring it down, and when you come out of that, your PA is still going to be the main fader, and your sub bus is going to follow that. You see, so you can tweak it however you want it inside of the mixer, and then just go with it. Okay? Now, some people will take this and they'll send it to their matrix, and that way they'll have additional processing. Running the matrix, your mains through your matrix is totally acceptable. Myself, I try and keep it as simple as I can, and this is what works for me. Now, here's another little tidbit. People don't understand. You got a 5,000 watt speaker system. Between 95 and 98% of that wattage is lost due to heat. You're only getting 2 to 5% of that 5,000 watts. You don't have to take my word for it, and I don't expect you to. Just Google it. Take your speaker system, go up there and Google how much of my wattage in this particular speaker am I losing to heat, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's why it's real important to make sure that when you dial these systems in, if you want to get the biggest bang for the buck, you got to follow a couple rules, okay? I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Take care, God bless, and we are out of here.